Aaron Ask America.
Welcome to Aaron Ask America. On today's episode, we are welcoming back Chris. He was on, I don't remember what episode. There's been so many in my brain, whatever. I learned a lot about him today. We're going to be talking pop culture things, maybe some Bible things, and then we're just going to see how the conversation goes. Chris, welcome back to Aaron Ask America.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I am glad to have you because as soon as you were like, hey, all we did was talk about me, we didn't talk about anything pop culture. I was like, well, the whole point of Aaron Ask America is talk about you, right? I learned that your wife is a California girl, which, totally blew me away because, we just don't know because we never go into these types of things. But it was just a good conversation where we learned about you and how you served our country and how you got where we're at, right? Well, technically we didn't get to the whole Texas thing, but either way, we talked about just about you, and you're like, let's talk about pop culture. So, where do you want to begin?
I don't know. My pop culture tends to revolve more around anime anymore.
Anime?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, we can start there. So, do you watch My Hero Academia?
I have, yes.
Okay, so
I haven't. I'm not caught up like Sarah is. Oops, caught up.
no, nobody knows who Sarah is.
Okay.
But so, do you know what season you're on?
I think I'm on 3.
Oh, okay, so you're right at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 8. 8 is the final
Yeah,
season.
yeah. I haven't done the later ones.
Okay, so 8 just came out.
Yep.
Dexter and I are in the process of watching 8.
Okay.
And I'm not going to spoil anything. We can move on from this, just in case I don't slip up or anything like that. But here's what I'll tell you. My oldest son, Brett, he said, you have to watch this show. Okay, what's the name of the show? He said, My Hero Academia. I was like, okay. He said, it's about superheroes. You're going to love it, right? I think there was only like 2 or 3 seasons at the time that he told me about it. And he showed me the first episode. And the first episode of My Hero Academia, the main character, Deku, is a whiny, crying, screaming character. And as soon as I could not wait for the episode to end. And when it ended, I was like, nope, this isn't for me, son. That's just not for me. And I walked away from it, right? And this was kind of right at the kind of the infancy of its popularity. And then I want to say season like 6 or 7, I heard somebody talking about it, and I was like, you know what, this person, I can't remember who I was listening to, but I was like, this person I kind of trust more than my son. So I said, let me give it a shot. So I rewatched episode 1. I watched all the way to the end, and once I hit my stride in the show, like I just couldn't stop. So when I hear you, because I didn't know that you liked anime, technically I do, but yet I don't, because I don't dive into a lot of it. I'm very specific about the ones that I watch. Mm-hmm. But like just hearing you're in season 3 is exciting, just because I know what you're about to run into as far as story arc, and it's a phenomenal show.
I could be farther than that. I could be somewhere between 3 and 5 too. I'm not very good with knowing where I'm at.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not gonna be like, well, are you here? Are you here? Are you at this point? No, because
that happens.
Because then you're gonna be like, wait, no, none of that happened. And you're like, wait a minute, I just found out I'm in season 1. So, but no, like at this point where we're at, they did not fumble the ball at all. There's a couple of like characters in the show. You should have already met the kid that's got the grapes on his head.
Yeah,
he's the worst, right? I wish he would die. I wish they never created that character, right? And so, have you met, who's the fire guy that I hate? Endeavor. Have you met Endeavor yet? He's the number 2 hero.
Yes.
So, yeah, Endeavor is the bane of my existence. So I'm not the biggest fan of him, but if you said, hey, Aaron, which one would you kill? The grape one all the way, because he's just a little pervert. Like that's his whole gimmick is, I'm gonna spoil something for you. He's a pervert. That's his whole gimmick throughout the entire show. He's a pervert, and so I'm just like, well, I know it's Japanese culture. I get that, but I'm like, But enough about that because I'm not going to go into any more territory of that. But what is your favorite anime of all time?
I would say, can I go three-way tie?
Sure.
So I love One Piece.
Mm.
I love Mashle, and I love Solo Leveling.
Okay. So out of your top three, I've only seen Solo Leveling. I've heard of One Piece because the Netflix show came on, and other than that, that's the only thing I know is there's a boat, and there's a kid that stretches, I think. And other than that, I don't know anything about the show. Other than I think are they traveling to find like pieces of a crystal or something?
They're going to find the One Piece,
Oh, no, it's called One Piece, right?
and that's basically the treasure,
Okay.
the ultimate treasure of Goldie Roger.
And One Piece has been around for a really long time, right? There's like
Yeah, they're 1,100 and some episodes in.
1,100 episodes. When you tell me that, like I'm never gonna pick up the show.
Well, you say that, but they're short, and they fly by.
Define short.
20, 23
Yeah,
minutes.
22 minutes times 1,100 is like a year of your life.
So we're in the 500s.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like there's another one out there I think called Bleach, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
That there's a lot of them. Is it Bleach? I forget, or maybe it's something else. I don't know. There's like another anime out there that went for a really long time, and my buddy was like, "You should watch it," and I'm like, "How many episodes are there?" And he is like, 10 million. I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do that." It's the same thing with that TV show. Oh man, as soon as it's the two brothers that are fighting demons, that it was on CW. There's like 14 seasons of that, and when I think about it, can you look that up? Two brothers fighting the devil or fighting demons on CW. I forget what it's called, but as soon as he says, I'm gonna, of course.
Probably.
But yeah, 14 seasons of that with 43 to 45 minutes per episode. Like I don't want to sit down and do that. Like if it was live and I sit down and watch it, then maybe. But like that's a lot of time to put into a show, right? But so what is the other? So I know of One Piece and I have watched Solo Leveling. What is that third show?
Mashle.
What is that? CW. Anybody that's watching this that knows the show is losing their minds. My brother watched it. One of my best friends, Supernatural. Of course, I should have remembered that.
Those guys. I thought we were talking anime still.
Oh no. It was it's Supernatural. There's 14 seasons of that.
There is. We watched like season 8, I think.
Did you burn out?
I was just like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, because I think my
and then
brother.
when they start getting, way, there's taking liberties with things, and then there's doing what they did.
I think if I remember correctly, my brother told me that it could have been season 8. I don't know. At one point, they kill God. So like
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But my example of that is there's 14 seasons of that. I've heard nothing but good things about Supernatural.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it was from good Bible believers, because it just got to a point where it's like, and I guess it hit me because people watch these shows. A case in point, Left Behind series.
Yeah.
It's fiction.
Right.
Well, it's all good and wonderful, but you take somebody like me who, when I read it, I really wasn't even in church. I, grew up in church, but never really spent a lot of time in the Word. And so for me, I took a lot of that as gospel, because even though, it's a book, it's like, well, it's a Christian book. It should be truthful, right?
Right.
Wrong. Come to find out.
You mean Kirk Cameron was lying to us?
Somebody was. But that's what my worry is about, that, because they go into purgatory, they go into, all of these different things. Like you can fight this and you do this, and no, you're going about it all wrong, and you're going to lead a lot of people astray, because especially if they're maybe babes in Christ or don't know the Word, they're going to fall right into this and think, hey, it must be true.
I would hope that they wouldn't put their eternity on a CW show.
You never know,
That'd
man.
be weird. No, I get it. Trust me, I do.
Look what a lot of people that we see around put their trust in, and it's less than
Joel
that.
Osteen. Yeah, I get it. So you were about to tell me was it?
Oh, Mashle.
Mashle. What is that?
So I'll try to sum it up and not ruin it because it's a really cute show. Basically, you've got this kid. He lives in a time when everybody has magic. It's like, your level of magic determines your status in
Mm.
society, and somehow or another he was born. Like, if you're born without magic, they'll like off you. They'll either ostracize you or just kill you. Uh, and he was taken in by somebody and raised, and he just works out. He works out, eats cream puffs, and he's so brutally strong. And he's just like simple minded. It's just a hysterical show, a really cute show. And
So does he have magic, or is he?
no,
So
no,
he's,
he's just so. All right, I'll give you from the first episode. So the guy comes to finds out that he lives, that he exists, and he's staying at this cabin in the woods with his dad, and they come to take him away. And he hauls off and hits the guy so hard. He's like, no, there's no way he could have done that because I put a slow down, spell on him where it's supposed to, you know, retract his ability. And he's like, he shouldn't have been able to hit me. He's like, and he grabs the guy's wand and he goes, you can't use magic. And he comes up with these stupid names like, power magic. He takes the guy's wand and he just throws it at him, and he puts up like a defensive barrier, and the wand goes right through it.
is it a bloody show?
No,
Huh.
no, it's just cute.
So that reminds me of a show. Have you ever heard of One Punch Man?
I have.
Have you watched it?
I've I probably watched it, but never made it past like episode 1 or 2.
Because it sounds like what you just described to me. I don't know which one came out first. Doesn't matter. But it sounds like it's like a magical version of One Punch Man. So One Punch Man is exactly what it sounds like, where he defeats enemies with one punch. And the way that he got his powers is he ran and did push-ups until his hair fell out, and that's how he got it. And that's how he gave himself superpowers. And he can defeat anybody with one punch, and it's hilarious. It is a hilarious show,
Okay.
just because like you have like like the opening sequence. It shows all this devastation across the city, and there's this huge monster like, I'm going to destroy the city, and he shows up, and then this guy just starts yabbering his mouth at One Punch Man, just blah 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 blah, because nobody knows who he is, right? He starts yabbering his mouth like, you don't know who I am. I'm blah 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 blah. I've been alive for tens of thousands, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden he just explodes, and then you see him. He's like this. There's smoke coming off his fist, and he looks at his fist and he goes, "Dang it!" Because he's looking for a fight. Like, because every single time he punches someone, he kills them, right? Because he's One Punch Man. So like he's running around looking for a fight. So he just destroys everybody. Like there's nothing. And there's this. It became a meme for a really long time. And if you look up like a One Punch meme, like there's this one moment. Not gonna spoil when and where or what, but like it's another bad guy that like he's standing in front of, and he's just yabbering his mouth like they do in like Dragon Ball and all the rest of them. Like, you don't know, blah blah blah. This guy's blah 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 blah, blah. And he goes on. The bad guy goes on for like 3 minutes of the show, and then the camera goes to One Punch Man. He goes. He's got this super confused look on his face, and he goes, "Okay." And that was his response to this massive monologue that this bad guy gives to him. He's just like, okay. And he's got this super, because he's got like this, the way that they draw him is he looks normal. He's like this goofy looking guy. And that's the goofy looking guy that said, oh, okay. Right. And then you have like this super epically drawn, like superhero looking thing when he's like, right. Like how they do when like the waves are going past him as they're going to punch. He's got this epic look to him when he's about to work, and it's people didn't like season 2. I enjoyed it for what it was. Season 3 is in progress, or maybe it's already done with it, but like I love it because he's in this world where, just like in the world that you're talking about, they're ranked and all that sort of stuff. There's a ranking system in his world too, where he hasn't really been, in not the spoiling thing or whatever, but in season one, he's not ranked because nobody knows who he is. So, like, you have these people who are in, like, this A tier who are all, like, egotistical of themselves. And here you have this guy that can essentially kill everybody from the top down if he wanted to. And there's nothing anybody could do, but nobody knows who he is because he is who he is, right? And yeah, he sees, like, the premise of the show is this cyborg guy sees him defeat an enemy with one punch. So he's like, Master, can you teach me how to do this? So there's this guy who thinks that he is like this godlike figure, and he's not because he's stupid. And so he's trying to mimic and be like this guy when in fact he's just an idiot, but he's just got the power of a god because he ran really fast and did push-ups and sit-ups so his hair fell out. But as far as solo leveling, what grabs you for solo leveling?
Just I guess I like the story to it. Really good storyline, interesting. It's not something that you see a lot of, and just a character that he's just not. He's reserved. He just kind of there and does his thing. But
so 2 out of the 3 of your favorites involve a character who's lower level that works his way up. Is that a story arc that you like, where
I guess so.
This guy's down and out, and because I forget the guy's name, but he was like a level 9 or level 1 guy who couldn't move up because
he couldn't even do a low level dungeon.
Right, his little dagger was like that, and I think it like broke, like something like that. So he didn't make enough money in the instances to fix his stuff, and then all of a sudden he gets endowed with powers, right?
Well, he gets a reset.
Well, I'm sorry, yeah, the reset thing. But here's what I'll tell you. Minor spoilers for people that are watching. We're going to talk about this. It's been out for a while, so if you haven't watched it, then watch it. But like that's the final boss of the season was super epic because we spent the entire first season watching all these phenomenal superheroes be awesome. Because we generally don't get to see that. We only generally see the main character, and then all of a sudden, all of these good guys are just getting murked by this. He was like an ant or some sort of alien thing?
Yeah, Bureau.
Yeah, just epically annihilated everybody. It was wild. I was like this, right? Because generally in anime,
when you get to know somebody,
they usually don't die.
Right.
Right. They usually don't die. They get beat up, and then all of a sudden they're like, "I'm okay, bro." Right? But no, I was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah.
It was wild. What did you think about that fight?
Yeah, it was epic. It was really impressive. But just to see his progression through it, even before that fight,
Yeah.
Fighting, the boss in the subway,
Yeah.
and just moving up, and it was, you kind of foreshadow that it's going to be an epic fight between him and whoever. But yeah, just to see the heroes getting taken out left and right, because I saw the show I think before I read the manga, so right now I'm like halfway through 14 out of 15.
Oh, so you read manga too?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
you know what's going to happen.
I do.
Well, then let's move on from this show. So when you say you're in anime, you're really into anime then?
No, just a handful of them.
Okay.
Though. Those are the ones.
When I say, I mean like enough to where you buy the mangas and read them.
Well, they're actually not mine, but we enjoy them together.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm not going to ask any spoiler type questions, but does, in your opinion, the story stay consistent? As far as when I say consistent, consistently good.
Absolutely.
Because I thoroughly enjoyed the first season.
Yeah,
I really did.
Just going through the manga, it'll leave you like, when does the next book come out?
So you said 14 out of 15. Have they released 15?
No.
Oh,
14 just came out.
Oh, so you're gonna have one. So you're
like
taking.
we just got it like this week or last week.
So you're probably like, let's read this one page at a time, 1 week at a time, so that
Oh
way.
no! I'll be done. I'll be done tomorrow.
So another show that because I'll move on from that one, so that way you're not tempted to accidentally spoil anything. But another show. Can you on my third screen? Can you minimize that screen for me? The third screen. I'm sorry, on your right, all the way down. Just minimize the. Have you seen Chainsaw Man?
I have not. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
Chainsaw Man is another story that you may enjoy. It's extremely bloody. Okay, so premise of the story is in the world of I forget the character's name is if there is fear in the world, then there is a demon out there for it. So guns are people all over the world are scared of guns. So the gun demon is really powerful because there's a lot of fear over that. So you as a human, you would want to merge with the gun demon because that would make you more powerful because people are scared of guns. So there's not a lot of people scared of chainsaws. So the chainsaw demon is like this little puppy, so a cute little puppy with like a little chainsaw nub out of its head, and then as you can tell from the picture, it's called Chainsaw Man. He merges with it, and that's what he looks like. And the way that it works is how you defeat the demons. Like if you merge with them and then you turn into a demon, the way that you're defeated is you lose a lot of blood, and the way that you get your powers back is you have to consume blood. So it's one of those things where it's this kid who's I think he's 14, he's homeless, and he gets tricked into going to a building, and he's in the process of being killed when he merges with the chainsaw demon. That's a minor spoiler to the story, but he's going to be the Chainsaw Man, and it's just him figuring out how to be in this world where evil people will merge with demons and become more evil, and there's all kinds of stuff that goes on. But there's only one. It's a little bit more. I guess the way to say it is a little bit more pervier than. When I say pervy, there's nothing like too bad in it, but like the main character. This is a PG-13 show, so I can talk about it. But he is really, really, really obsessed with boobs. So like he really, really wants it. I think he's 14 or 15. So he really, really, really wants to get his hands on some boobs. So he's constantly making deals with a girl demon that if he does something, then he can touch her. So that's about the only thing about the show that's a little bit weird, but that's also in a lot of Japanese animation. So I know it's not in Solo Leveling. That's a pretty good show when it comes to. There's no real sexuality to it. One Punch Man, there's no real sexuality to it. I don't know about One Piece.
So One Piece, there's one of the characters way later on, especially if you're just doing a live action. I don't know if they will ever get there, but he's like, "Show me your panties."
I can only imagine the guy with the purple grapes in My Hero being put into live action. Like I couldn't even imagine. Like like if they ever decide to do like a live action My Hero movie, like I wish that they would figure out a way to just write him out. He serves zero purpose of the show. I'm gonna spoil it. I hate that character so much. He serves zero purpose other than just being like, "Hey, look, there's some hot chicks. Let's go look at some hot chicks." That's basically the entire purpose of his character, and I just kept waiting. Huh?
And wearing a diaper.
Yeah, that his getup was very, very weird. It was a very weird getup because you have these purple things out of your head, and I know it's an anime and whatever, but like you choose to make yourself even goofier looking because he can pull them out till he starts bleeding, and then he can't pull them out anymore, but they just continue to regenerate on his head. You're like, yeah, I'll wear a diaper. That'll get the girls. That'll get the girls to love me. That'll get the girls to change the way that they look at me. Is these goofy purple things on my head and a diaper. But have you seen Cowboy Bebop? So Cowboy Bebop is probably the second anime that I have ever watched, and it is, I would say by far, it's my favorite. You can, if you look right over there, I know that they can't see it, but I don't know if you can see that picture just above the lamp. That's Cowboy Bebop, and it came out in I think '96. I caught it in reruns, and the premise of it is that it's in the future, and they're bounty hunters looking for people across the stars, and solar system, I guess, would be the best way, because I don't think they go outside of our solar system, but it's very old school. Did you see the TV show Firefly? So it's just think of like Firefly,
Okay.
but in anime form. And the main characters, it takes place, so it's called Cowboy Bebop because the name of the ship that they fly around is called the Bebop. And if you remember our first puppy, Frankie, the Corgi Australian Shepherd mix, I don't know if you saw her before she passed, but like we got her because the dog on the ship is a Corgi. I always wanted a Corgi because of Ian, and we got a Corgi. And like Frankie, our first dog was because of Cowboy Bebop. And but Spike, Jet, I forget the rest of the names. Well, I can't believe it. Anyways, the cast of it, there's only I think 20 something episodes, and it's super compelling. It's a really good show. If you go on,
So it's kind of like Firefly.
it is like Firefly, but it's so, back in the day, animes were written in a way where the story was told within 26 episodes, and that was it. There's nothing outside of that. Cowboy Bebop was written today. They would make it to where it could keep going and going and going, right? But I would tell you to give it a shot. The Faye is the other one. There's Faye, Ian, which is the dog, and I can't believe I forgot the name of the ambiguous. There's a character in the show. It's not that she is non-binary or he's non-binary. It's just nobody could figure out what it was, right? So because they're like,
Pat.
huh?
It was Pat.
It was Pat. Yeah. And I'll take that back. I think when they run into, I think it's a her. I think when they run into her dad, I think it says it's a she, and they're like, oh, it was a girl the entire time. But it's such a great show. I really want him to watch. I really want Dexter to watch it, and after we finish My Hero, maybe that'll be like, oh, okay, because now he's kind of into anime. He watched Dragon Ball. Have you ever watched Dragon Ball? I've never been a Dragon Ball guy either. But Cowboy Bebop is one I tell you to.
We enjoyed Last Avatar too.
Last Avatar? Okay, so I've never watched that. I think y'all watched that, didn't you and Elise watch that?
Watch what?
The Last Airbender?
I watched it.
Okay, so Elise didn't?
No.
Oh, did you? Well, of course you enjoyed it because I bought you the figure, right?
Yeah, I've probably rewatched that show like twice.
Okay, so he's already rewatched the show.
Yeah, we rewatch it regularly.
What did you think about the live action one?
It was all right.
I heard they kind of changed a couple.
They changed everything,
Oh, they changed everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
which was kind of disappointing. But
Yeah.
I think
Netflix.
timelines and everything are all wonky, and
But
Just-
did they change it enough to where you didn't enjoy it?
I like you had mentioned earlier. I just enjoyed it for what it was. Seeing a live action to what the anime was like One Piece. There's a lot of that actually follows in line, and they do, take some liberties here and there just to kind of compress it. Or
Yeah,
Do
there's
it.
1,100 episodes. They got to compress stuff to make it go
so
forward.
I heard they're skipping a big chunk on the next season. That's
But it's about to come out, isn't it? It's.
Yeah.
I thought I saw something today, or like a new trailer came out for it or something.
season 2 will be coming out soon.
So I also think season 2 of Airbender's coming out here pretty soon too, live action. So I mean, I haven't watched any of it, in the live action or animation of Airbender, but Airbender has broken pop culture so much that I know how it ends. So like, there's certain things that like with Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, like it breaks through pop culture so much that things that are going into it. That's what happened with the last Airbender. It just became so popular that when stuff happened, you kind of just heard about it, like kind of like with things on Dragon Ball. I've never watched Dragon Ball. I've never had any desire to see Dragon Ball. There was a movie called Resurrection of F, which stands for Frieza, which is a character in the show. My oldest son, Brat, wanted to go see that in the movie theater, so I took him to see it. I was so lost. But I mean, it was just everybody punching each other, so I was fine with it. They were punching each other and shooting beams and stuff like that. And there's a character named Vegeta that he's that you've probably seen like the meme that he's over level 9,000. That's the guy. That his name's Vegeta. And throughout the movie, he's my favorite character, just because he hates the main character so much. So it made me laugh. I was like, why does this character hate him so much? And Brett was like, there's so much you don't even you don't want to know. But yeah. Now as far as anime, the first anime that I ever watched was one called Robotech. Have you ever watched Robotech?
No, the ones that I guess if you could call it that, I think the ones that I watched actually preceded that.
Mm.
So, when I was in elementary, I'd kind of like race home from school so I could catch G-Force.
G-Force. What was that about?
There's a group of, I want to say 5 characters, almost like a family, but I was too young to really put together, what they really were. Could have just been a random group of people, but, they had like a spaceship. They could launch out of the spaceship. They had almost like squirrel suits before, way back then, where they could kind of like fly and glide. And essentially just, fight against, evil.
Bad guy of the week.
Bad guy of the week out in space. So it was pretty cool. That was probably my first introduction, and later on, Battleship Yamato.
Never heard of that one either.
Yeah, that one. They actually did a redo of it and digitized some of it. It's pretty cool.
Did they do it justice?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so as far as like sci-fi stuff, like do you branch out into the world of sci-fi at all?
Absolutely. It's kind of my genre.
Okay, is it?
Yeah.
So what is your like my favorite sci-fi TV show of all time is Battlestar Galactica, the newest version of it, not the one from the 70s. or 80s.
The newest one, I thought they did a lot of justice to the show because I go back to the first one.
Yeah. So you watched it all the way through?
Yeah.
So I have seen a lot of movies and TV shows. So generally, when I sit down and watch something, I just keep my mouth shut while I'm watching it because I generally figure out stuff that's going on. So the episode where it was the season finale of the first to last season, and it was an episode that had where people were hearing music and they didn't know what the music was, and me as an audience member, us as the audience member didn't know what it was either. And then if you remember, the episode ends where like all 5 of them enter into a room. They're all looking at each other, and they're like, "Are we the final 5?" And they were all Cylon, and they're like all the best characters of the show. And I was so mad. I was so I don't shows and stuff like that generally don't pull emotion out of me just because it's fiction. But I was generally very angry. The TV was right over here back when that was. And I got up. I was sitting in the chair that was right over here. I got up and I was like, "What?" Because it was all the best characters were Cylons, and I was like, "No,
Gotcha.
no." But I really, really, really enjoyed the show a lot. I met Katie Sackhoff.
Right.
She played Starbuck.
Yeah.
I met her at one of the nerd conventions. If you think about it, at the end of the show, I'll pull up the picture. And so one of her best friends is a MMA fighter named Josh Barnett. And I had met Josh Barnett like 6 months prior in Vegas. I was there for a fight with my buddy Joe, and he was at a bar. He was at, oh no, I'm sorry, not a bar. He was at there is a eating place inside of Mandalay Bay. I forget the name of it. He was there along with the guy named the Korean Zombie. And so we went over there and we started chatting with him just because he's a cool guy. You can just walk up to him and talk to him. And then I told him, I was like, "Hey, I'm going to be meeting Katie in about 6 or so months at Dallas Comic Con." And he was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Well, if you get a picture with her, tell her Josh Barnett says sup," right? They talk all the time. They're friends, right? So fast forward, I meet her. I told her that I met Josh. Back whatever. She's like, "That's cool." And then so what? When we got done, I took a picture of the picture, and she was wearing this kind of white sweater with like this dog that was like looking over kind of like the top part of her shirt with his tongue out. And I tagged him in the photo. I said, "Hey, I finally got to meet Katie Sackhoff." And Josh responded with that sweater. It was so funny, but no, Starbucks. She did such a great job in the show, and her character was in theory, technically, she was the alpha male of the show, but they didn't make her so dislikable,
Right.
right? So that her character just worked, right? I never even thought twice about, oh, she's a female, she shouldn't be able to do that. No, they made her in a way where she was just tough as nails, but like she was also vulnerable too, and that's what makes a good character just in general. But what was your thoughts on the show?
I enjoyed it as well. I thought it was, I like to see sometimes hopeful when they do reboots of really old stuff that was way ahead of its time, where the idea and the concept was way ahead of the special effects.
Yeah,
And just to see what they can do now to redo it, but hopefully not with all the DEI and all.
yeah. I mean, it kind of makes me wonder, like, if they're ever going to redo Buck Rogers. I mean, that
I
is,
love that show.
yeah.
I saw the movie in the theater. We used to watch the show.
He's him spinning in the circle as he's going down whatever wormhole that he was stuck in. But no, like,
Actually met him.
did you?
Yeah, Gil Gerard. Yeah,
He
he was from Arkansas.
he passed away recently, right?
That I don't know.
Okay, yeah. But so one of the aside from the reason, aside from the Battlestar Galactica making me angry, right? That's what raises the level of the show, or any show, any show that can make me exhibit any sort of emotion goes high up on my list, right? Um, so my favorite episode is called 22, and it's one of my favorite episodes of TV. And it was the very first episode of the season. So there was the miniseries that launched the show, and it was the very first episode, and it was called 22 because they were having to jump every 22 minutes because the Cylons were after them,
Yeah.
right? And
I remember that.
it was heart pounding. It was like, it was so stressful to watch just because they were up for however, I forget how many hours that they were up, because they knew they had 22 minutes before the Cylons found them, and then they had to scramble the fighter things out, bring them all back in, and then jump again. It's one of my favorite TV show, or one of my favorite episodes of TV in general, of all time, just because of the stress, and just you didn't know, because people died, like characters from in the miniseries died that you thought were going to be main characters in the show, and you were just like, okay, that's how it's going to be.
So a nice combination. It's not a show, so I'm kind of gonna probably ruin things here for you. But a nice combination between movie, like say Buck Rogers, Battlestar Galactica, all of that, is a book series by Jack Campbell called The Lost Fleet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What is it? I mean, aside from the name itself, called The Lost Fleet, what is it? Is it about?
Basically, how to put it, futuristic, going through, you've got two different factions at war with one another. Basically, you've got your Earth faction, and you've got your other, they're both human, but just like against each other. Main character, he's he's a commander on one of the ships, and they get ambushed, and he goes down with his ship. He ends up making it to a pod, an escape pod, but everybody thinks he's dead. He's written off, and he's just in this pod floating around space for I think 180 years or something like that. And then all of a sudden, his a ship that just happens to be in the area and they pick up the faint signal. He's about, out of battery, out of life support, and he was about to cash out. But they brought him in. They thawed him out, and so for him, it's just the next day after the battle. But he's like 3 generations down in his family, family members, and everybody looks to him as the hero of that battle because he actually turned the tide and prevented, a mass catastrophe, fighting essentially to the last cartridge before they got him. And but he beat them up so bad they couldn't push the attack, which let the human forces rally, or I guess if you would, the American or Earth forces. And but it just goes where he comes from a different day and age where things had progressed. They'd fought all of this time. However, it was 80, 100 years. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's been a while. But in his day, people were trained. There was tactics. They thought they knew how to approach the battle, but things had degraded so bad. There was such a loss of life where they were turning people out to feed the meat grinder, and it was so they would just go out there and almost like kamikaze, just to take a ship out. And he's like, you don't help anybody's cause, kind of like Patton. You don't help anybody win if you die in the process.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to live, and he just his process of working, and when he was picked up, he was picked up by a fleet, and they were about to go into a battle, and everybody looks at him like, oh, it's John Geary, oh, or whatever his name is, and sorry, you need to probably remove that because I work with that guy. It's not his name, but it's close to that. But
is it called Lost Fleet because he knew where like a fleet of ships were?
No, it's Lost Fleet because essentially this fleet went out to do kind of like Starship Troopers. They go out to hit Planet K, and turns into just a critical disaster. Well, same thing here. They had gone out to hit the other faction's homeworld, but the information that they were given, they didn't realize it was a trap. So they thought they just got this intel, thought it was clean. Walked right into a trap, got cut to shreds, and kind of the same thing. They're just being hounded by this other fleet as they're trying to limp their way back, to safety, and they're just out in a bad way. So
since you brought up Starship Troopers, did you enjoy that movie?
I love that movie.
So do I. So do I.
I remember when that came out. I want to say one of my kids had just been born, and I left the hospital, went over there and watched the matinee, and saw that. I'm like, oh.
So, my dad is not a movie person, right? He generally did not like going to the movie theater to watch a movie. There were certain movies in my lifetime where he was like, I need to go see that movie, right? I can tell you all of them, all the Star Trek movies, he wanted to see them in the movie theater. When the commercial for Independence Day, because the very first commercial for Independence Day was at the Super Bowl, and it said, enjoy the Super Bowl because it's going to be your last, and then it shows it blow up the White House, right? So my dad's like, we got to see this movie. And then Starship Troopers, I think, was a Super Bowl commercial too, where you just see just hordes and hordes of bugs, and my dad was like, I want to see this movie, so we went and saw that movie in the theater. And like, I am a big sci-fi guy, as you can tell, right? So like, as soon as I saw bugs and troopers and stuff like that, I was like, I want to see this movie, right? But I was not prepared because back then, if I remember correctly, I wasn't really into directors as much as I am now or became. So if I would have known that it was filmed by the guy that did RoboCop, I would have been a lot more prepared because like, the opening sequence is the bugs ripping people to shreds. I was like, oh my goodness. And my dad was not prepared for it either because, he doesn't really like that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm not going to lie, I thoroughly enjoyed Starship Troopers a lot. There's like 4 movies.
Yeah.
I think there's like 2 more live action. I think 1 animated, if I remember correctly. There's a video game out there. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you've played it, called Helldivers.
Play it.
You play it.
Yeah.
Have we talked about this
No.
before? We need to play some Helldivers together for democracy, right?
Spread democracy.
Spread democracy. Yeah, so like I started playing that game right when it became red hot, right? So the thing about Helldivers is, as you know, is it's fun to play with friends,
Yeah.
right? So I just play with a bunch of random people. So I mean, it was still fun to a degree, but like putting yourselves in situations, high stress situations with your friends is a lot better than
Yeah, because you know each other. You know, you just react to each other almost instinctively.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, so I played that game a lot for a really, really long time. Well, not really long time, but longer than normal. It's still sitting over there. I think it's still installed.
You're probably a lot higher than I am then.
Really? I mean, it's like I played it a lot for probably 3 or 4 months. I
Yeah,
think.
I'm just a weekend warrior, so I'm only like 47.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd have to look it up, but yeah, that's a game I love playing because it reminded me
Yep.
of
That's
Starship
what I say,
Troopers.
because I've got a friend. I'm like, hey, you want to go kill some bugs?
And like, what was it like the big? I think is it the big? It's been a while since I played, so I forget a lot. But like, there's like a big stomper bug that you have to like get underneath or shoot its butt, and then like it explodes, and then shooting the pods on the ground, trying to stop them from popping and more bugs coming out, and somebody making a mistake and tripping over some of those things and busting them open.
So they've got new stuff now.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I figured they might because it's been probably a year since I've played.
Oh yeah, they've changed a lot. So now, like on the big bug planets, it's all underground, so you can't call anything in.
What?
Yeah.
That sucks.
So we go in mechs.
Yeah, yeah. So, I'm sure they probably still have the same planets, but I was there, and hopefully they fixed it with the planets with the fire tornadoes.
Oh yeah.
They're still there or no?
Oh, yeah.
Did they fix them?
What do you mean?
Because so what? I don't know if it was
Like every time you try to extract, you got about 15 of them all over you.
so that means they left them the same because a lot of times what would happen is like you're already stretched thin, especially on the harder levels, and you're hitting the extraction button. And I don't mind if the fires show up maybe like right in the middle of it because it just makes the game fun. But it almost happened
All
every
over the
s-
place, and you can't go anywhere because
all
you're
over-
trapped.
Yeah, all over the place. You're trapped, and there's bugs everywhere, and you're crap out of luck, and it's just.
So you haven't done the Illuminate then either, have you?
Was that the third faction? So the last thing,
voteless.
the last thing that I did was we destroyed a planet, and it created a black hole, I think, in like the lower quadrant of the map. I forget what it was, but I think it was supposed to bring on like the rumor at the time was like people from Helldivers 1. There was like there was like a faction that was in Helldivers 1, and I guess that's what they are called. They're called the Illuminate. Are they like inky people?
Inky people.
Like ink? No?
No.
Okay, well then I don't know. I never saw them.
So did you ever play Halo?
Yeah.
The Flood
Okay.
with overseers that are in armor.
Are they tougher to kill?
Oh my goodness. Well, it depends on the weaponry, but yeah.
Yeah. Man, I can't remember what what I used. But so the last update that I purchased was I think there was the initial one that you got from when you purchased the game, and then there was like the ice, and then I think there was another one, and then there was fire. I think was the last like season battle pass, whatever you want to call it, that I bought.
Are you talking about like the
like the expansion packs for the game that give you new
different
weapons.
armor? Yeah.
Yeah, so like
I think they're at like 9 or 10 now.
yeah, so the last one that came out, I lied. It wasn't the fire one. It was the one after the fire, because the one after fire is when it lets you. It was the jungle one, I think, where you could get
Python Commandos.
yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that was the last expansion that I purchased, just because I got tired of playing by myself. But yeah, the main reason why I started playing that game was because of Starship Troopers.
Yep.
So like when you play, like text me, man.
So what platform do you play on?
PC.
On PS.
Yeah, we can play together.
Can you really?
Yeah, cross platform play.
Really?
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
So
thought it was just Xbox and PS that could play together.
did they add the Xbox to it?
Hmm.
Oh, because whenever I played, it was only
Or
P-
maybe I thought it was Xbox. Maybe it's really PC.
yeah, that's probably what it is. Because whenever I played, it was only PC and PlayStation that could play.
Really?
Yeah, because people were all over Reddit saying, "I've got an Xbox and I'm ready to spread democracy." Like there's all these people wanting it to move over to to Xbox. Yeah, that's what it was. Because they made a huge mistake, and they killed the momentum of the game. Maybe before you started playing it, but like they had a bunch of people playing the game, and then all of a sudden they released an update because the game became extremely hot, really hot. Everybody's playing it, and then PlayStation was like, "Well, we own the game, so now everybody that plays the game now has to make a PlayStation account and and funnel your game through the PlayStation network or whatever it was," and that killed the momentum early on in the game because people are like, "I don't have a PlayStation, I don't want a PlayStation, so why are you making me create a PlayStation password where I have to put in all my information, stuff like that?" And they ended up stopping it, redacting it, but still, it was. You come out
The
there, and you're like,
damage was done.
The damage was already done. But yeah, man, next time you play, let's get together. How many players do you play with?
Consistently one,
Mm.
but usually other people will join in.
Yeah, but if we have three, that's almost a squad.
Yeah.
Because squad's still four, right?
Yep.
Hey, we can block out the other person. We can hop in and hell dive down and take care of business without a fourth person.
Fourth person usually helps on the extreme.
Yeah, well, here's what I'll tell you is
Unless there's something like we played with last week, and the death ratio was so bad they burned all our
respawns.
yeah.
Yeah. Here's what I'll tell you is if you're serious and I'm serious about us playing whenever you have a chance to play, then I'll hop back into the game and start doing rando missions again just to get my because you stop playing a game. It's been a year since I played the game.
Yeah, calling stuff in.
I need to remember 'em. I need to remember my buttons. I need to remember what to do, the jumps, the calling down stuff because I can't remember anything. I can remember levels and like faintly remember levels and what to do during those, but like I couldn't tell you.
It took me forever to figure out the map. I just won't. That's why I needed somebody else to play. You put the marker on the map, I'll go kill stuff. We're good.
Yeah. I remember the very first game that I played. I launched down, and like I was doing so poorly. I had my open mic so that way I could talk to the rest of the team, and they just wouldn't. I just happened to run into some jerks that wasn't having it. They just killed me, and whenever I respawned, they'd kill me again, and I was
Why
like,
would they even bring you in?
so I went to the Reddit and figured out that there's just at the time, people are just being jerks. I'm sure there's probably still some jerks in there, but for the most part, like that's what it was. Like I was literally, I had no idea what I was doing. I can remember the map and all that sort of stuff now, but I logged in, I ran. I was like, "Hey guys, this is my first game. I don't know what to do." And then the guy was like, I was like, "What in the world?" So I was like, "Okay, maybe I should go solos," and that's what I did. Is I went solo, and just figured it out. And then I got connected to some people that played the game, and then we just played. So, but yes, now that I know that you're there, we can kill bugs together. We can make it rain
Yeah.
bug
So,
blood.
cause normally I only play on Sunday afternoon.
After church.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? After I get some Jesus, I really need to kill some bugs. Do you watch that commercial from I'm doing my part, and then you see the kids stomping the bugs.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What are you talking about? That's from Starship Troopers. Oh, okay, never mind. Never mind.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, outside of Starship Troopers, since you say you love it so much, what is your favorite sci-fi of all time?
When it's your genre, it's kind of hard to. Let me think.
So while you're thinking, have you ever seen the movie Looper?
Looper,
It's
where he's in a time loop.
So
and he has to.
premise of the movie is people from the future send their bodies to the past, and the loopers shoot them, kill them, and burn their bodies here in the past.
I don't remember that.
It's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis, and the way that and what it is they hire you, right, and then every time that you kill someone, they drop from the future like into like this, I don't know, I forget where it is, but they drop and they have these silver plates on their chest. So when you kill them, that's your payment. Well, the last one that you get is a gold-plated one, and it's you in the future. And that's how you know that you're done and you're retired, is you kill yourself, your future self. So that's the loop, right? They pay you, and then all the gold and silver that you get from working for them for so years gives you a lavish life. But you know, at a certain point in your life, they're going to get you and they're going to throw you in there, and your past self is going to kill you. And the premise of the movie is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's, Bruce Willis, and when Bruce Willis hits the ground, he hesitates because he realizes that that's him and his time as a looper's over with, and so he hesitates. Bruce Willis gets away, so then there's this, then it's a problem. It's a problem for both the past and the future people, and it's
How old is that movie?
2000. Can you look up Looper? It's Looper. But the thing is it's sci-fi because of the time travel stuff. But there's a side story that is amazing. Like, it'll blow your mind. I just remember watching the movie.
I have to think I've seen it, but maybe it's been so long I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I must have only seen it once then.
What? Came out in 2012. Can you pull up a still like of any part of the movie? Just up in the top thing, there's a thing that says images, just so he can see some images from it. Second row, third picture. Like, yeah, that'd be a good picture of Bruce Willis from the movie. But yeah, it's best. It's one of the best, or is the best sci-fi movie that I've ever seen. And I gave you a basic premise, but there is so much more than that.
Interesting.
And when I walked out of the theater, because it's one of those moments where, like, I've seen so many things, you're just like, okay, I know how this movie's going to end. And when it doesn't end the way you think it's going to, it blows your mind. Like, I walked out of the theater, I was like, that is an amazing movie, because you expect A, B, and C, and D, and then when stuff happens, you're like, holy crap, I cannot believe the movie ended the way that it did. So I will tell you that just because we're brothers in Christ, there is one scene of nudity. It's I think we're almost right at the beginning of the movie. Like, he kills somebody from the future, like he's supposed to. He gets paid and immediately goes to a prostitute. And there's no sexual things that happen. It just shows you the aftermath of it when they're just talking in bed. And then after that, there's nothing more. It's just all action sequences and stuff like that. It's a good movie outside of that one scene. And but yeah, if you like sci-fi, that'll get you.
So it's kind of hard to say about a favorite. So a lot of the sci-fi, I saw when I was younger, like The Black Hole from Disney, left a lasting impression, because I was young.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was probably, it freaked me out, Maximilian, and just, the guys that had been changed, the former crew where they had melded them, and other things like, Star Wars coming out in my, when I was young, made a big impression. That's, the first, best special effect movie you see, space fighting. And
How old were you in 1977? If you don't mind me asking. You're also going to go tell me to jump in a lake too, by the way.
5.
So you were 5. So you're 5 years old when Star Wars comes out. That would be so stinking amazing.
I can remember watching Empire Strikes Back at the drive-in.
Empire was what, 79, I think, because I think Return was 81, somewhere something like that. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Return came out later. It did.
Maybe 83.
No, I think.
But either way, you're 5 years old,
Yeah,
1977.
Sorry.
No, that was my fault. I took us down that rabbit hole. But yeah, you're watching it, and like for me, just like with superhero movies, for him, you just take these things for granted, right? Because Star Wars was already out by the time that my conscience became aware of it, right? So, but like for you, like Star Wars going
It's all unfolding right there.
yeah.
And so it was all new movie comes out and whole new thing, and that was really neat. Watching the Terminator, I couldn't go to sleep. I was scared to death.
You're scared to death that a Terminator would come from the future for you. You were the savior of humanity.
Oh no! How do you kill something that you can't kill?
Yeah.
And
You do it piece by piece, apparently.
I don't have any explosives.
I don't have any explosives, and I don't have a press.
But a lot of these movies, Buck Rogers, saw that at the theater, the movie, and then they had the TV show after that, and
So, the genre, I know it's a superhero genre now, right? But when Christopher Reeve's Superman comes out, would you have considered that at the time sci-fi, just because it is about, he's an alien, but they all the movie posters said you will believe that a man can fly, right? So they pitched it as like a man flying, but when in actuality we know that Superman's an alien. But like, was that considered a sci-fi movie back then? Because that one came out in 78,
yeah, it was
79.
Yeah, it came out really early, and I missed that when it came out. So, and it was good night. I want to say Superman 2 was one of the first Superman movies I remember seeing, and I think that's the one with
Zod.
yeah. That I thought that was a great movie.
Yeah, it still is now.
And
Kneel before Zod. Kneel. That was his whole gimmick. All he wanted people to do was kneel. Just kneel. I'm not going to do it. Okay, let's fight.
crush you. But yeah, that trying to think. I saw the Star Trek movie, and I was so young. That went way. I was just totally lost. I was bored out of my mind.
Yeah, Star Trek the motion picture was bad.
Yeah,
it was very, very bad. They
and it was so bad I never bothered with any more of them. So I was like in the Marines before I ever saw any of the other ones.
I would, if Dexter came up to me and said he wanted to watch, or Lee said that she wanted to watch the Star Trek movies, I would start with Wrath of Khan. I would, because
I think that was one of the best ones they made.
I mean, because like, why would I make them go through the motion picture? I saw it, and I think I saw it one more time, like as an adult, and I'm just like, what in the world were they thinking? It was like this slow moving, like long episode of the show that nothing happened.
Right.
And you're just like, what in the world? Like, how in the world did Paramount or whoever owned them see this movie and be like, yes, and now give me another one? But thank God they did, because like, I don't remember if I saw Wrath of Khan in the theaters, but I know, because I told you my dad was a huge Star Trek fan, so we saw all the movies in theater. I remember seeing The Search for Spock in the theaters, then The Voyage Home, then Undiscovered Country, and then Final Frontier, and then that's when the New Generation movie started. So we saw, I think there was only 3 of those, right? I think there was 4, because there was Generations.
Yep, Nemesis.
Nemesis. Did you like Nemesis?
No.
Really? I thought it was so stinking epic, because it was supposed to be the final one of the Next Generation one, and like Data died, and we didn't know that they were going to do what they did with them, but like Data died, and then like at the very end of the movie, when like all hope was lost, if I remember correctly, because Picard was on that Romulan ship, and Riker was just like ram 'em, And like, dude, they just rammed they took the Enterprise and they just rammed the ship because they were all expecting to die anyway. So like, let's just do it. Let's rock it out. Let's take them with us. And I just thought that because that was, to me, I took that as like epic because for one, you know, they recognized that we enjoyed the cast of the Next Generation, but it was always about Picard and the fact that like the Romulans made this this clone of Picard, and then when it didn't work out, because he was made to replace Picard, and when that didn't work out, they just threw him in a coal mine until he raised up this army against everybody. And what was funny about it was that was Tom Hardy, the guy that ended up being one of the biggest movie stars going on right now, was the kid Picard in that movie.
Interesting.
You know, the guy that played Bane in the Batman movie? Yeah, that was Tom Hardy. He played kid or clone Picard, but anyways, but I enjoyed Nemesis. The one that I didn't like was I think it actually was called Insurrection. It was just like a long episode of a TV show where they find out that this planet is being being bombarded by this guy, and they came and they rescue it, and everyone's like, high five. That was it. It was like a normal episode of Star Trek, only in the movie theater. But I want to say, was there another one? Am I missing one? Because there was Generations. That's what it was. How did I forget this one? First Contact.
Yeah.
First Contact. So like you have Wrath of Khan, and then you have First Contact. I really enjoyed First Contact.
That's the one where they go back and he does the first warp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Borg, the Borg are there and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. How did I forget about First Contact? First Contact is the best Next Generation movie there is. But do you remember the craze back in 1977 for Star Wars? Was there like a craze? Was there even
Where I was, no.
Were you able to? I mean, I guess was there a way to even know back in like 1977 that something was extremely popular? Like, do you turn on the TV and all the news is talking about it?
The news would talk about it.
So when you turn on the news, you're like, hey, there's this movie coming out that takes place in space.
Or, look at all the lines, Yeah.
Was there a line when you went and saw the movie? Do you remember that?
I didn't see that one in the theater that I can remember until I think I caught it like on maybe the dollar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lines are a thing of the past. Like Elise, and even Brett, they grew up in an era now, which is my favorite. Well, it's my favorite, but also not my favorite era of movie watching, where you can buy your seats and they're just waiting for you. Like, he doesn't understand because he didn't have to go through this. But when Spider-Man came out, the first one, Tobey Maguire one, we bought our tickets. It was a midnight showing, and we showed up at theater at 10 o'clock. And we were like the third person in line. All my friends and I, midnight showing for Spider-Man, because we knew if we showed up, we were going to get the worst seats ever. And yeah, so if there was a movie, we would get there hours in advance all the time, because we would go to movies all the time. So movie starts at 7, we'd be there at 5. Start the line, go up to the movie theater guy and say, all right, where's the line for, whatever. And they would point us out, or they would start a line with us, right? And then that's what would happen. And by 30 minutes before the movie started, there'd be a line out the door for all the movies that were coming out, like the opening weekend, sometimes second weekend.
Oh yeah,
there would be lines out the door. They would have them.
If you couldn't get in early to go see it,
Yeah.
If you missed that first one, I would wait third, fourth week.
Star Wars Episode 1, I waited in line for, I would say, about 2.5 hours to buy tickets. So the theater that I had, because remember, Star Wars Episode 1 was the first Star Wars since Return. So like the movie theater that I went to they used the parking lot as the lines, and there was four windows to buy tickets. Instead of making just one line, they had 4 lines. So you were like looking to see which line was shorter because we got there 2 hours before the tickets even went on sale, because that's the first Star Wars movie, right? So after waiting 2.5 hours, we got if I remember correctly, day 3, because all of the showings of all of the first, second, third day were all sold out. So we were like day 4 theater, because they made the theater like show it on 4 or 5 different screens, so we didn't even get the biggest screen, because they told you because the theaters over there was 4 and 5 were the biggest theaters, and you would say, okay, I want theater 4. Well, okay, well that one's not going to be ready till like day 6 or 7, because people want to see it on the biggest screens or something like that. And yeah, it was wild. It was wild times back then. Now we just hop on the computer, buy the tickets, buy the seats. I don't even care about previews anymore, because previews are on the internet. So I rarely watch previews in the movie theater. Movie starts at 7:15. I'm there at 7:18, 7:20, 7:30, just because I know the previews. There's 30 minutes of previews, right? So I have a cushion. I have a cushion.
Oh, is that your?
Hmm?
Oh,
No, it's just him making noise. He's making noise over there. I was going to throw something at him, but I figured I'd wait till he started talking, then I would throw something at him.
I took it away. It sounded like a grandfather clock.
Yeah. But as far as, let's go this direction. So what is, if you can hammer it down to one TV show, like what is your favorite TV show of all time?
I've had some great TV shows in my time.
Mm-hmm.
Had Magnum PI.
Magnum PI, you're putting potentially as your number one
I mean,
TV show?
But whenever it
Tom
was out-
Selleck?
oh yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, drives a nice red sports car, and
Gets all the girls?
and he was funny, and then the cast, good cast, and I was at that age where that was really neat.
So nothing in the modern era that you can think of would outdo Magnum PI?
I mean, we don't watch a lot of shows,
That makes sense.
so I mean, we watch like Landman.
So you're a Taylor Sheridan guy, or is it just that one show?
Who's Taylor
He's the
Sheridan?
guy he's the guy that does Yellowstone, Landman,
Okay.
Mayor of Kingstown, like
I've never seen that, but I watched Yellowstone, and wife watched the last season without me. So
Stop.
I never watched the last season.
Oh.
And then,
just make up your own ending. It's better.
that's why I wasn't really enthused about ever watching it. And then we got into Perot from Agatha Christie.
What is it called?
It's Perot, Poirot.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, he's, I guess, a character in a lot of Agatha Christie's books, and so we actually watch it on BritBox, but I think there's something else that you can see it. But they do Agatha Christie. I think it's David Suchet or something. I'm not really sure how to say it, but he plays the character, does a really good job.
So is BritBox
App,
an app that only lets you watch just British shows?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Have you ever watched Sherlock?
The show, didn't really get into it.
Not the one with Benedict Cumberbatch, the guy that played Bilbo in the Hobbit movies.
I never really got into that. I don't know.
I would tell you, if you watch the first episode and you realize that you have watched it and you didn't like it, then of course don't watch it. But Sherlock is the best thing to have ever come out of the BBC, hands down, in my opinion. Sherlock, the way that Benedict Cumberbatch plays Sherlock is he plays him as kind of like a psychopath, where like he has zero empathy for anybody. He's there to solve like murders and stuff like that for his own. And every season there's only 3 episodes. and
Okay.
they're like movie length episode. They're movie quality, and it's phenomenal. And the guy that plays Moriarty is phenomenal. It is like, yeah, I don't even want to break it down for you other than just say that if you do have BritBox and Sherlock's on there, you should at least give it a shot. There's
I probably will.
one of my favorite quotes of that TV show is they walk into a crime scene. He's there with it's Sherlock, it's Watson, and it's two police officers, and they're staring at it because the way that he and it shows you from his perspective what he's thinking a lot of times. So like if he looked at you, then he would analyze your hat, say that okay that your shirt, like if there was like a mustard stain, like oh, you probably had a burger, all that stuff. So you see all the stuff that he's analyzing, so he knows everything about you before you even say a word, right? So he walks into a room, and again, my favorite line, it's him, Watson, two police officers, and he looks at the police officers. He goes, "Stop doing that." He goes, "What am I doing?" He goes, "You're thinking." It's amazing the way that series plays out, and it's also. Did you see the Hobbit movies?
Oh yeah.
So Benedict Cumberbatch played Smaug.
Smaug, yeah.
Okay, so that's good. Another show on BBC is called Luther. It's got Idris Elba. It's phenomenal. It's a really good show. It's about a police officer that's trying to solve crimes, and nobody has guns because it's in the UK. So it's really an interesting show just because this guy is running around solving crimes without guns and all that kind of stuff. But it's a really compelling TV show that's still going on. They made a few movies recently of Luther that I forgot about till just now. I'm trying to think if there's another show on BBC. But the reason why I ask about your favorite show is so like my favorite show is called The Shield. It's about this this police
Oh
force. What do you know? Do you know it? Do you know it?
no,
Oh, okay. It's
never watched it, but Reacher, I really enjoy Reacher.
Reacher's a phenomenal show. We love Reacher a lot. The guy that plays Reacher claims Christianity.
Yep.
He has a YouTube channel that he goes on there. His views are a little bit skewed a little bit just because he's in that whole Hollywood scene, but he still seems like a pretty genuine guy. But The Shield, and you got to take it for when it came out, right? So The Shield comes out. It came out on FX back when FX was the network to be on, right? So it's about this police force. They take over an old church that's been abandoned, and their job is to clean up the area, and it's South LA, right? So it's the worst of the worst, and it's about this thing called the strike team. There's other cops in there too, but the strike team is compromised, like they are doing bad things, but they also do good things too. But I don't know. I don't even want to. So it was back in the day when there was 24 episodes per show. This show came out, and the longest season was 15 episodes. So it would show up, rock your world, peace, and you're like, oh my goodness, like what the heck, right? And yeah, it's a phenomenal show. It's my favorite show of all time, and it's the gap between number one and number two is I don't know if there's ever going to be a show that comes close to The Shield. Just because of the way that it made me feel at the time, the fact that it's still relevant now, that if you watched it, like my oldest son watched it, and he was like, when he got to the final episode, he was like, I had to take a shower. He said, I had to wash that show off of me because it's, and my favorite story to tell about this, and then we'll get off The Shield, is my wife and I were watching it, right? It was in this room. We used to have a couch on this wall. The TV was over there, and I was sitting in the chair over there. And something happens in the show, and she was laying down kind of like this, watching the show. Something happens in the show. She sits up. She's like, I'm never watching this show again. And she never watched the show until the final episode because she wanted to come back and see if something happened to one of the characters that she wanted. Like that moment, she was like, I want that person to die, but she didn't want to stick around to watch the show to see. She was so stinking mad that the event that happened, and that event that happened, when it happened, it was so like gut wrenching and shocking that like the next day at work, right? Christy does that. She gets up and she's like, I'm never watching the show again. She leaves the room, and then I go to work the next day, and I just feel like this weight. I'm not kidding. This is because I really love movies and TVs, right? I feel this weight on my shoulders, and I was just like, oh, this is back when I was in a cube. My phone rings. It's my best friend Daniel. I pick up the phone, and he's like, bro, he goes, I'm so depressed. And I was like, why are you depressed? Depressed? And he's blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yes, you know what? I was like, I think that's why I feel so terrible today, because this happened. And he was like, yeah. He's like, as soon as I woke up, he was like, I just was like, oh. It was such an event. And so, like I told you earlier, like TV shows and movies that that pull emotion out of me just are so high up. And that once there's quite a few scenes in the series that happen that will pull emotion maybe potentially out of you, but did it to me at the time. A lot of the stuff that happens in the show was very shocking back in the day, but now it's kind of par for the course. Like stuff like that happens in the show. Like, yeah, that happens every cop show now, right? But at the time, you're just like, right, because you just didn't. That sort of stuff just didn't happen.
Right.
And when they got nominated for an Emmy, they got nominated for an Emmy, I think, for season 1. They were going up against The Sopranos, 24, right? 24, if you remember that show, top of its game, and a couple of other shows, and there was The Shield. You can look it up on YouTube. Like, they won for best whatever. They were sitting so far back because nobody expected them to win, including them. They were so far back, they had to go like down 2 flights of stairs to get to the podium to give their speech, because nobody expected the Shield to win. And
surprise,
they won against the Sopranos in the Sopranos top of their game, 24 at the top of their game. I was living with my friends at the time that all this was going on, and at one point 24 was on Tuesdays, and so was the Shield. So we would watch 24 from 8 to 9 on Fox, and then we turn it to FX and watch the Shield. So there was like this 2-hour just thinking 2-hour power hour of Jack
Right.
Jack Bauer and Vic Mackey doing their thing. It was a great 2 hours of TV that we never missed when we were living together. But it's a phenomenal show. But yeah, the number 2 is Breaking Bad. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
Never watched it.
Do you have any desire to?
I don't know. I mean, I heard it was really good, but I don't watch the TV by myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as that goes, the premise of it, right? A teacher gets cancer, so he decides to start dealing meth to save money so his family has money when he dies.
Nope.
Okay, that's the premise of it, and
Okay.
I don't know if that sounds good or whatever, but it's number 2 on my list. It is phenomenal. It is
Really?
a phenomenal TV show, yeah. And it's another one of those TV shows that, like, it'll get you bad too, because you start watching, you get connected to some characters and stuff like that, and then you get pulled. Like, I don't think that you did because you were in the Marines or something like that. I have never been in the world of drugs at all, so all of my interaction with drugs for the most part have been watching it on TV. So
Yeah.
you get put into scenarios because they're dealing meth where you see the end result of meth, and like you're put into scenes sometimes where you're just like, holy crap, there probably are kids in this particular situation where their parents are so busted out on meth where like they are begging for food because their parents are snorting or whatever, how you do meth, to the point where everybody, the parents are basically skeletons, because I think that's what meth does to you, and the kids don't have any food, and it's a wild ride for sure, and yeah, it's number 2 on my list, and then Battlestar's number 3, but number 1 for you is Magnum PI. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I mean, I've seen a lot of good shows.
Yeah.
But I guess you burn through them and you find the next good one.
Yeah, I mean, I love movies and TV shows, so I find something like the guy that created, and this may tickle your fancy because it's sci-fi, the guy that created Breaking Bad just put out a new show called Pluribus, and the premise of the show is the humanity finds I think it's like a I think it's a multiplication problem or something, and what it does is it unlocks a alien virus that turns all of humanity into one hive mind except for 11 people. So the entire world is one mind, so I could be talking to you but also be talking to, even though you're all one mind, be talking to somebody else across the world. So like if I'm one of the people that's not part of the hive mind and I want to talk to one of the people that aren't part of the hive mind through you, then I can be like, hey man, what are you doing today? And you could, from wherever you're at in Brazil, you could go, I'm going to go jump in the pool, and we could have a conversation through it because it's all one big hive mind. And the people that are part of the hive mind, they're all nice people. They don't kill anything. They don't kill anything. They're programmed not to kill anything. So you get to find out how they sustain humanity by not killing animals. So, but it's an interesting show, and that would be sci-fi too, because they tell each and every person that we will find a way to bring you into the hive mind, but we won't do it without your permission. But when we do find out, we can bring you into the hive mind. So all 11 people who are spread out across the world, it's an interesting show to say the least. So, yeah, because a 9-year-old can perform open heart surgery because they share all memories, they share all knowledge, they share everything amongst all humanity. So, it's an interesting show to say the least. It just ended, and the way that it ended, I was like, that was the last episode, was it? Because generally there's like 10 episodes now. Nah, there's only 9. And there was another one out there called Silo. I'm hitting on sci-fi because you like sci-fi. So Silo takes place. It's in the future. Humanity has destroyed itself, and what's left over is these societies that are living in these missile silos that the government built.
Almost like
Fallout.
yeah.
Yeah, but this one's totally different.
Gotcha.
So the season 3 is about to come out, and they filmed I think 3 and 4 together, and 4 is the last one. So the premise of the show is if you're in these silos, and if you walk out of the silos, then you will die from whatever's out there. So and every person, so there's a camera that sits out in front of the silo. So every level, I forget how many levels are they have. Every level has like a screen, and the screen displays the camera that's outside. So all they see is the devastation of whatever, right? Just right outside in front of their silo. So over time, the camera gets dusty, and it becomes harder and harder to see. So if a person that can't take it anymore says, I want to leave, as soon as you say that, then you can't take it back. If you say that you want to leave the silo, then they take you, you get one final dinner, they suit you up in this suit, and then you leave, and you have about 3 minutes before you die. And in those 3 minutes, you're supposed to wipe the camera off. And every person, this is the premise of the show, I'm not telling, every person that says that they're going to walk, all of them say, I will not wipe the camera off. And every single person does. And it's all because of what they see when they go out. So it's an interesting show, to say the least, because there's a lot more going on than just, they know that there are other silos, and but they can't get to them because as soon as you walk out the door, you got about 3 minutes before you die. And it's a really, really, really good show, because within the silo, so the silo has stairs that go from the bottom to the top, and I think there's let's say there's 44 levels. So when the president of the silo decides to go down to the depth, it takes him like a day and a half to walk from the top to the bottom, right? So like the top part is like where the police and the government is. Like the middle section is where like the judge and all them are, and then like the middle section is like where the doctors are, and then everything else is where the people that keep the silo going are. And ever so often within the history of the silo, the people at the bottom get mad, and then there's always a rebellion of some sort. So it's because it's a class system, right? If you're born at the bottom, you're never going to make it to the top.
Yeah, cast.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a phenomenal show. It's very well shot, very well done, and it. I want to say, I think she moved the book, but when we watched the show, we were so enthralled with that universe that we bought the books and we burned through them like crazy. And it's a phenomenal book series too. I can't wait to see how they show everything, because it's not a spoiler, but like this coming season they should show. It's called Shift. The name of the book 3 is called Shift, and they show you how the government built the silos and how all that came to be, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see how they do it. It's going to be great. And since you like sci-fi, it's kind of right down your alley too, to a degree.
So where can you find that at?
It's on Apple TV.
I don't have that. Could be why I haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, if you really want to watch it, then I'll get you hooked up. Oh my goodness, but okay. But yeah, so Silo's a really good one. Since you like sci-fi, Pluribus. So if you like slow moving shows, no. So then no Pluribus, because Vince Gilligan, which is the guy that did Breaking Bad, all of his shows that he does is slow. Because he's building up to something big, right? He's always builds up to something. So it's a slow pace, slow. Breaking Bad is, Better Call Saul is, and Pluribus is. So like it's a build up, but the payoff on all of the shows always pay off. But if you can't handle the slowness, then
That's not me, because I like the.
Oh,
I grew up reading Clancy.
okay. Well then, yeah, definitely. So
I mean, he'll spend a whole chapter on somebody who gets off to the next page. So
yeah. So he's like, so Clancy's like Tolkien then, right? He takes his time building the picture. So from what I'm hearing is you're throwing all the heat on the wife. She needs fast-paced stuff.
yeah, she's like, that's her number one complaint. This isn't doing anything for me.
You can't say, then go in the other room. Let Daddy watch something.
No, it's one TV.
Well, then, how about this for your birthday this year? I'll give you a TV so that way you can. I'm just kidding.
I have a wall mount.
I feel like if you got another TV and put it in another room, she'd still come over there and lay next to you and watch whatever you're watching.
Or complain about it.
Or well, what you do is like when you're in this room, you can't complain about what we're watching.
Never happened.
Yeah. So fast-paced shows. I'm trying to think. Like, I would never tell you as a brother in Christ to watch The Shield, right? Just because it's it's on FX, so there's no nudity or anything like that. But just the stuff that happens in the show, it's not something. It's really really fast. It's a fast-paced show. 24 is another show that your wife might like if you
SEAL Team.
Yeah, SEAL Team. Does she like SEAL Team?
Yeah.
Then maybe 24, because 24, you know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fast paced. It has to be. They very, very, very rarely do they slow down with Jack Bauer and a guy that.
But I think it's just a repetitive. You have 24 hours, or it's it's fast paced, but it's always the same. It doesn't ever change. So she doesn't like repetition.
Well, it's so the what it is with 24. Did you ever watch it at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that like the repetition portion is you only get a day in the life of Jack Bauer, right? So it's a lot of times maybe repetitive to a degree as far as like the villain.
It is for her.
Oh, okay. So then you need something that's like only one season, super fast paced.
Or just everything would change.
Well, I would say try Sherlock. She might like Luther. Luther was.
I mean, she watches Pro with us, so.
Was that pretty slow?
Well, it's a whodunit. So they're good shows.
Yeah.
She likes true crime too.
You know what's wild is, and then we'll land the ship on this, but I don't know how I got into it. Stupid YouTube fed me this video of Piers Morgan, and he's got a huge series of him interviewing serial killers. I've been watching them.
I'm sure she's seen it.
She probably has, but like it's wild. It's wild. He got the wildest thing that I've seen out of all the interviews. He got a guy who confessed to killing like 13, I think, women, and then he was showing this guy pictures of the women and asking them if they made him feel anything, and he's like, no. And then he's like, well, he goes, how does, he goes, if you think about like the families of all the that were impacted, of all the people that you killed, he goes, does that make you feel anything? And the guy looks him directly in the eyes and says, I don't even know how to answer that question, because he's a sociopath, psychopath, sociopath, where like he doesn't feel anything. That's weird. That's a weird thing to look into. And you know, they always do this thing where they do a close up of each one of the person's eyes, but just the wild look in this dude's eyes, and the fact that he doesn't feel anything, remorse, nothing. Like he'll say, "Oh yeah, I feel bad that it was their daughter and not somebody else's," but like, you know, stuff like that where like he'll say stuff like that, and you're just like, what in the world? Like this dude. And yeah, and the wild thing is he only remembers like I think 3 of his victims. Like he took the life, I think, of like 13 different women, or it could have been, maybe, I think it was all women. Either way, he doesn't remember any of them, because Pierce at one point showed him a picture of each one of his victims. I don't remember that. I remember that one because blah blah blah, and then I don't remember that one. I don't remember that one. That's wild to me that you don't remember this event. And the only reason why this dude got caught was because he got what's the word where I'm trying to think, he got too caught up in himself. What's that word? Arrogance. He got too arrogant and tried to kill 2 girls at once, and they both got away. And they saw while they were in his car, because what he would do is he would find it, because it was back in the day when women were hitchhiking. He'd just pick up hitchhikers and kill them. And these 2 girls he picked up, they saw like his license, or they saw something that had his name. And when they got away, because he tried to kill both of them, they got away and they called the cops, and that's how they caught him. Was, who knows if they would ever caught him if he hadn't gone for 2 girls.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, it's wild. I know that was a totally different dark turn there for the end, but you know, just like the last time that we got together, we did a words of wisdom, and take us away from the dark and bring us into the light, as far as however you want. But before we go, let me ask you this. So about 2 weeks ago, did you hear the Kirk Cameron controversy where he was talking about annihilationism versus hellfire? So he stands to believe, unless he changed it because he took a lot of heat, that God will destroy the soul versus an eternity in the lake of fire. So do you like, where do you stand? I think it's a non-essential, so whether you believe it, the same thing I do or don't, do you believe in the soul annihilation, or do you believe in hell as far as torment and all that?
I believe in hell as far as a torment. I believe the Bible supports that.
Me too. Me too. Because it specifically states, and you know, in other places too, but it specifically states in Revelation that the beast and the false prophet are thrown into the lake of fire alive. So I think that's totally different. I think their punishment is totally different from everybody else's, because it says they were thrown in there alive.
And you got 22:8, Revelation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Mark, where it says, talks about, you know, it's better for you to pluck out your eye and go through life maimed than to, you know, keep your eye and essentially suffer in hell, where the worm dieth not.
Yeah.
Well, the worm dieth that dieth not is your soul.
It's better to cut off everything and enter into hell with no arms, no legs, no eyes, no tongue, no ears.
And which is tough scripture for a kid when you read that the first time.
Yeah, there's no doubt, for sure. So, okay, so then you and I agree. I just wanted to transition from the serial killer stuff into something biblical. But yeah, I do think that, I know that I had a conversation years ago with a friend of mine that, and again, it's a humanistic side of us, and I totally understand it, and I could totally get where he's coming from, but he was saying that hell, because he started going to this website that I'm not going to throw out there that was basically pushing that hell was temporary. That let's say if you were like Hitler, then you would spend the equivalent of like, let's say 10 billion years in hell, right? And then afterwards you would be cleansed or whatever, right? So there's like, hell is temporal. And I told him, his name was Brandon. I was like, Brandon, I was like, if in the infinity of infinity of infinity of days, God in his ultimate grace and mercy opens up hell and lets people out, that is his prerogative. I was like, but scripture doesn't say that.
Nope.
At all.
Nope.
At all. I said, so we can't hope for that. But if it does happen, then God will get all the honor and glory out of it. But I was like, we can't operate under a temporal hell just because we can't comprehend eternity. And because when you think about it, when you think about the rich man,
Yep. And
he is-
Lazarus.
and Lazarus, the rich man right now is
Still there.
It's still there.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that's, I mean, we talked about it a long time ago, and then Kirk Cameron started that thing. So I just wanted to get your opinion on that. I'm pretty sure, I was pretty confident that you and I would agree at least on
Yeah,
that.
I mean, that's the annihilism wasn't new to me, but the only people that I've heard use it were people who are atheists.
Mhm. Yeah, well,
This is all there is, live, die, live until you die, because after that, that's it.
yeah. Well, but here's the thing, though. I hope I'm wrong, right? I hope we're wrong. And when I say that, I mean, I would rather God destroy the human side of me, okay? This is what I'm talking about, the human side of me. Human side of me would be, I would rather God destroy their soul and them just go into nothingness, right? No consciousness or nothing, then spend eternity in hell, right? That's a humanistic side of me saying that that's what I would rather happen to them, just because like eternal torment is eternal torment, right? That is when you think, because there's a pastor friend of mine that gave an analogy, right, where a bird, and it's probably not original, he's like, a bird flies from the Pacific, gets a little dab of water, flies it over to the Atlantic, and does that until the Atlantic is completely empty. Eternity is still just beginning.
So let me put it a different way. You have God who gives his son,
Mhm.
dies for mankind, living a perfect life. So just gives his life for man. The ultimate gift that could ever be given.
Right.
And people reject that. If he were to just annihilate them, where's the justice, if you will, if you look at all the suffering that Christ did for mankind? And to me, it's becomes a matter almost of fairness. You have all of these opportunities to accept and believe. He wants you to accept and believe. It's there for you. He calls to you. He bids you. He wants to welcome you. And you reject that. It is the ultimate slap in the face. And to me, I don't see, the crime or the punishment should fit the crime, right?
Mhm.
And I just don't see, instantaneous death as being a fair replacement when you've lived the span of your life, however long that may be, in this rejection and denial, doing whatever, and for it to just be over in an instant. It seems to me that almost the fairness would be, look, I've warned you about these things. This is the punishment to come. And it's almost like a justice. This was my son that you've rejected. This is the gift that you've rejected. And this is your just reward. I just think God is a just God.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. I do. I'm just saying the humanistic side of me is like, why wouldn't just God just out of existence, right? I totally agree with everything that you just said, but I'm just saying from the humanistic side of me. But when you take it from what you
From my
just
sociopathic side, that
well, no, the thing is, it's not sociopathic because here's my thought process on it. I hold this God should, the humanistic side of me saying this that it would be better if God just annihilated them. When I get to heaven, right, and I have a full, true understanding of what took place on the cross between Christ, the Holy Spirit, and God the Father, I'm going to have a true understanding of what they rejected. Like I can tell you right in the face right now that I understand what they're rejecting, but I don't. We just don't, because we can say that God poured his wrath on the Son on that day when he took in all of sin, past, present, and future, right?
that's a lot of sin.
But we don't know what that means. We don't know what the wrath of God is because Jesus took it, right? So when we get to heaven and we have a full understanding of that wrath, when the cloak is put on us, the cloak of righteousness, right? And we don't feel sin anymore. We don't feel all that. Then at that point, then it'll be like, okay, yes, I truly understand, and I fully and totally, not that I don't fully and totally agree with, because it's a creator, he can do whatever he wants, but like that's when we'll have a true understanding of what took place on the cross that day. And I think that's why the whole tears thing is a thing. Like there won't be any tears in heaven, because we'll have a true understanding of what they rejected, and have a true understanding of they're getting their just reward, right? Because the way that we put it on the fire resistant is you will graduate to whatever reward that's coming to you, right?
Yeah,
So
that's true. Yeah,
yeah, right.
your just desserts.
Right. So, like, if you are in Christ, then you will graduate to heaven. If you are not, then you graduate to hell. Both are the reward that you chose, right? Because especially here in westernized civilization, right, you can stand on the corner, and even here in Texas now, and try to talk to people about Jesus, and they will just, they don't even want to talk about it.
Yep.
Nobody wants to talk about it. So, yeah. But as we lead that into words of wisdom, so every time that we get together, as far as on the show, the last few minutes belong to you, the guest. And so just like last time, your camera's there. So whatever words of wisdom that you want to fire to Dexter, since he's right behind it, or the people that are watching, just words of wisdom, letting them know what's up.
Sure. So the words of wisdom for this episode from me would be: there's a lot of voices in the world today. There's a lot of things being said by a lot of different people. There's a lot of truths out there. And my encouragement, my word of wisdom for you today is: let your truth come from the truth. Hearing someone else's aspect about a thing, a topic, people will tend to elevate people, assuming that they're right. I guess my point is don't take someone's word. Go to the word, the Bible. Search it for yourself. Be a Berean person, where don't just hear somebody talk about it. Research it. Check the Bible. See if it lines up. Does it line up? If it does, great. But let the Bible be your guide. And that's the word of wisdom.
Awesome. And if I can hop on just to tell into that, one of the things that somebody said to me this week on social media, I don't want us to get into the topic. I'm just going to tell you where it came from.
It made me pretty hot.
There's that lady that got shot this week, and a buddy of mine who is, I'm assuming is an atheist, said you should be ashamed of yourself, because his viewpoint is she was executed, right? Again, I don't want to get into the topic. Here's what I want to say, if you don't mind me jumping on your words of wisdom. Don't let somebody else's sin stop you from learning the truth, right? Because when he said you should be ashamed, right, in his eyes, I was wrong. So he could potentially be using this conversation. And that's why, like, I made the decision to try to steer away from even more posts like that, to get away from that, keep it more Christ focused and real estate focused. But like, my potential sin that he sees in backing the ICE agent rather than saying that she was executed, that specific sin could be keeping him from looking to the knowledge of Christ. So when I say that, I mean there are millions of poor examples of Christianity, including myself, right? Around the world, there's even bad examples in the Bible. Ultimately, like you were just saying, look to the truth, which is Jesus, which is Scripture, all that. Don't look at me. I suck. I'm the worst. So, like, so when Chris says, look at the truth, I'm saying that if you have a Christian in your life and they're just not the best example, if you go see a cover band, right, and the cover band sucks, you don't get mad at Metallica if their Metallica's cover band sucks. You get mad at the cover band, right? So don't get mad at Christ over something stupid that I say or do. Just trust him and look to Scripture, like you were just saying.
So Titus 3:9 says, but avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. So I think a lot of that stuff is argument bait. You're not going to change somebody's mind.
Agreed.
And I think the best way to approach it is to not approach it via that topic at all, but just to lay the truth about the whole subject out.
Yeah. It's like pulling poison out from a snake. It's if you've seen, because we've been friends on Facebook for a minute, so you've seen where
I've seen some posts from some people that we have mutual ties to, and even other friends, like the guy that I do Helldivers with made a comment. I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah, you're talking about Israel stuff. Yeah. No, that's a totally different topic. That it makes me sad, but ultimately, words of wisdom is, if you're looking for truth, find it in Scripture, because that's where you'll learn about Jesus. Jesus tells you how to live your life. If you live your life by the truth and believe in Him, that He raised from the dead, then you know that humanity sucks and they need a Savior. Then life becomes a little bit more easier.
Yep.
So, Chris, we came, we saw, we fought, we made our ancestors proud.
And we pop cultured.
I did learn something about you again. Like, I didn't know that you liked anime. That's very much something that you and I will talk more about off the camera, because as you progress through My Hero, like, I want to talk to you about it just to get your take on it, because there's some crazy stuff that happens in that show, and I can't wait for you to be like, I can't believe blah 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 blah. And I'll be like, I know. But with that being said, like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends, and if you live in the DFW area and you want to be on the show, message me. And with that being said, once again, Chris, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll have to do this again too. But with that being said, this has been Aaron Ask America. Thanks for watching.
Aaron Ask America, we're talking real life. Truth, love, and struggle, no filters, no hype. From the heart of the people to the soul of the land, he's asking the questions you'll understand. Aaron Ask America.